Hi again, everyone. I'm the Cantankerous Collector. This is episode number 69. So, back in the 70s, I missed the whole Star Wars collector phenomenon. Um, I had a few items back then. I remember I had the booklet that you could buy at the movie theater, uh, where the film was being shown, and I had the Topps trading cards, and that's about it. That's all I can remember having. I missed the whole Kenner action figure craze back then. I wasn't that old, but I wasn't getting a lot of toy stuff like that anymore for Christmas or for my birthday or anything. And most of the money that I had went to comic books. So I missed that whole phenomenon. And that includes the 80s too. I read a lot about it in the 90s when I was reading a lot of the toy publications that were being produced at the time. There was a real, um, the baby boomers were getting older in the 90s. But they had disposable income, and their kids were kind of being seen off to college and stuff. So there was a big boom in collecting in the 90s, and so we saw a lot of retro stuff. And of course, when the Power of the Force 2 uh, Kenner or Hasbro stuff came out, I I bought into all that, and I have a ton of that stuff, and some of the early stuff's not that cool, but I've got a lot of vehicles and stuff. I got a TIE fighter I need to hang one of these days, but um, so anyways, I missed the whole big Star Wars collecting phenomenon back in the 70s and 80s, and so Gentle Giant back around 2010, they were into 3D scanning. And so they were actually getting props from Lucasfilm and they were scanning them in. And they also had this idea of taking figures from the 70s and 80s, those 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures, scanning them in, enlarging them to 12 inches, and putting them on a large card with a bubble pack and everything. Um, and of course, Star Wars collectors will buy almost anything. When they first promoted this, I thought, well, this was kind of neat. They were expensive. They were like $80, which, and it's crazy even back then. Gentle Giants, their prices have always been expensive, but they do some quality work. And so, anyways, I thought this was kind of a neat idea. So I bought a few of them. They're still producing them now to this day. I've got four of them in my collection, and I thought I would show those today. I'm not an authority on any of this stuff, so I know there's guys out there that they live and breathe this stuff. That's awesome. That's really cool. But I'll just tell you what I know and what I think. Um, this here, so as you can see, it's a 12-inch figure. This was scanned from one of the smaller 12 3/4 inch figures, which I never owned any of those as a kid. I do have a couple now in my collection that I picked up at a couple of antique stores or something, 20, 25 years ago. But I never went back and bought those. One of the things is that they're really they're real cheap looking. They're not great, and I'm not disparaging them or any collector that collects them. They were awesome for the time, and kids loved them, and they produced a lot of merchandise for the films. So so I'm not I respect this stuff. I think it's awesome, but they weren't very good. They weren't highly detailed. They're only 3 3/4 inches, so there's not much detail you can get in that. But they scanned a bunch of those in, and Gentle Giant was selling them. This one here is not the first Boba Fett. I think they did the Stormtrooper and Boba Fett first, and those sold out right away. This was the second Boba Fett they did, which was the rocket firing feature, which was a big deal. Again, I didn't know about any of this stuff, but apparently back in like 79, right before Empire came out in 1980, they were going to release a Boba Fett with his jetpack and a rocket that would shoot out. But they can't. They made a few of them, which are highly sought after now, but they didn't go to market with them because of, I think it's a safety issue and maybe production costs too. Probably the safety issue more so than the production cost, but that was a huge deal. That was a huge deal back at that time. And I didn't learn about that stuff till probably in the 90s, like I said, when I was reading the toy trade publications and stuff. So, anyways, this is kind of what people were hoping for, just probably at a smaller scale. And this one, actually, this figure came out really nice. I'm trying to get this so it doesn't have a lot of reflection, but this figure came out really nice. And overall, this is a really nice packaging. This is really cool collectible. It's big. Like I said, I only have 4 of them. I mean, I don't know where I'd put all these. You can hang them on the wall and stuff. They come with a card, the backing card, and then the plastic bubble. So, and this one also has the back, and I'm not sure how close this is to the original. I think it's probably close. I don't have the originals, of course, to compare them to, but this was, kind of the way the backs looked back then with the, pictures of a bunch of the figures that were available at the time. And so I thought these were really cool. They were pricey, but you could sometimes get them cheaper on eBay and stuff. This one here, my sticker, this is a sticker here that advertises the rocket firing jetpack, and it's starting to come off a little. I'll have to fix that. But these were cool. These were really neat. I didn't want to go too deep into the line because of cost and space. I know that I was interested in buying the Darth Vader when they released him, because he's my favorite character in the whole Star Wars universe, mythos and stuff. But when I saw him, it looked terrible. I mean, it looked like they enlarged these tiny figures. I mean, Darth Vader's original head was tiny on a 3 3/4 inch figure, and they blew it up and it looked like a potato. I mean, it just looked really bad, and so I never picked that one up. And I think there was some controversy at first. I mean, I say controversy, but I think some of the purists, they were reluctant when I guess they found out that some of these figures, they were going to have to be retooled a little, resculpted, refined a little. When you blow up something 3 3/4 to this big, you're going to lose. I mean, wow, you're not going to lose detail. I mean, you didn't have any detail to begin with. So there were purists, I think, that wouldn't buy into the line because, they had to readjust things and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that Vader was done that way because it looked like they blew up the 3 3/4 figure, and it didn't look good at all. That was just my opinion and stuff. So, and you can also take these out. You can, people that take these out and they display the figure only. I don't think the figures are that cool enough to display. I think these look better on the card. I was watching this video of Rick Springfield, the singer. He used to be a huge Star Wars collector, and he had a bunch of really rare figures, from the 70s and 80s and stuff. And I think he sold his collection, but this was an older video. It's on YouTube. He was being interviewed by Rolling Stone, And the kid interviewing him was like, he's got all of these out and he's showing them and why these are rare and everything. And the kid's like, "Don't you want to open these?" And Rick Springfield's like, "No, these are cheesy. These figures, they're real cheesy looking. They look nice on the card, in the package with the photography and the art and stuff." And yeah, I agree 100%. These look so much nicer on the card as opposed to taking them out and stuff. There's a lot of collectibles like that, and I'll sometimes I'll buy two. Like I was a big Wonder Woman collector. If her card was really cool, had a really nice artwork or design, I'd buy two. One that I could take out, and one that I'd keep, sealed on the card. Of course, that there's less and less of that going on because of these are everything's so expensive now. So, but anyways, I thought I would take this out. Actually, let me show you this one here. This is because there's a little weird story behind this. This is, I think, the first one I bought. This is the Tusken Raider, and I got this one. I love the Tusken Raider. He's one of my favorite characters. Or they are. They're a race of people, of sand people. So I was looking for this one, and he kind of went up in value real quickly. And I was trying to get a one for a good price, and I got one on eBay for like $50, which at the time was really good. And I think it's because he didn't put Tusken Raider in the name; he put Sand People. And so I was able to score this, and when I got it, I was pissed off because I got it for a great price, but I was upset that the head was twisted, and I thought it was somebody in China or something. They thought they'd be funny and twist the head, and so I was kind of upset about that. I thought, well, I don't know, am I going to sell this? Or I just put it away and I put it in storage. Well, I've got ADHD up the ass, okay? And so some things go in one ear and out the other. And surely I knew that in the beginning that these could be taken out. I'm sure I read that, but I had forgotten it by the time I got this guy. So I thought these guys were sealed. And so when I put them back in storage, I kind of forgot about them. Then a few years ago, I saw some guy opening up his and sliding it out without damaging the package. And I'm like, of course. Of course you can do that. What was I thinking, I'm sure I heard that in the beginning, but I had forgotten it. And this thing was in storage. But I remember thinking, man, when I get that Tusken Raider out of storage, I'm going to take him out and twist that head. And so now, bye-bye, here we are. Let's do it to it, Pruitt. Yeah, boy. Now, I've never taken these out. I don't know how. This may take a little bit, so I'll quickly zoom through this. I feel some tape. Jesse is a friend. Yeah, I know he's been a good friend of mine. But lately something's changed and it's hard to define. Jesse's got himself a girl and I want to make her mine. And she's watching him with those eyes. And she's loving him with that body, I just know it. And she's holding him in his arms late at night. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Dun, dun. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Dun, dun. Where can I find a woman like that? Jesse's girl. I wish that I had Jesse's girl. When can I find a woman like that? Dun, 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 dun. Okay. I don't want to crease the plastic because he's going back in. Oh, yeah. Yeah, boy. Okay, so is that one piece? That looks like it's one piece. So you can take the card out that's unpunched. I've always liked that image. I had a giclée of that image. I have an actual original transparency, a slide that I had professionally scanned in, and I could make posters, really nice posters of that image. Okay. Okay. Look at that. That's look at I could finally twist his head. Now I was thinking maybe they twisted his head because they didn't want the plastic, his eyes and stuff, to scratch the plastic bubble, but I don't know. Look at that. I just got it. I just twisted his head. Yeah, boy. I didn't think I could do that. But now this was one of the things about these figures. They had these vinyl capes, and they're real cheap. I mean, they're real chintzy and stuff. I mean, again, as a kid collecting this stuff, I'm sure they loved it and all, but it's just, I don't know. I don't like cloth cut for these small figures either. I don't like it. I like a thick plastic cape. That's just what I prefer. But this is pretty cool. Now he's twisted in there, so I don't know. I'll decide whether I want to take him out or not. I was going to take Boba Fett out, but I just wanted to twist this guy's head finally. And then now I'm going to have to monkey with this, what do you call it? They didn't wear capes, but they wore, it's just an extra, just a cloak. Anyways, that's pretty cool. And I'm looking in the mirror all the time, wondering what she don't see in me. I've been funny, I've been cool with the lines. Ain't that the way love's supposed to be? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. When can I find a woman like that? No, testicle 1 2, testicle 1 2. The camera went off there. Okay, so I'll get some better pictures of these, but I thought I'd show the other two that I have. These plastic cases get pretty dinged up, but I think it's just a matter of adding some of that Novus plastic de-scratcher stuff, and I think that would clean these up really well. Okay, I got two more here. You know I feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I want to tell her that I love her, but the point is really moot. Okay, this is really cool. This is the LEIA Hoth figure. I loved Empire Strikes Back, and I liked her outfit too in it. Now this, I'm sure they had to refine when they blew it up, because I mean it's cheesy looking, you know, like Rick Springfield says, but but there's no way that it would have been this defined scaling up a 3 3/4 inch figure. I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm sure they did some retooling, especially with the design, the cross stitching in her outfit and stuff. I'm sure they had to redo, some of that. It wasn't a straight scale up from 3 3/4 to 12 inches. They had to work their to make it look somewhat pleasing to the eye. So here's the back of it. They did the Wampa. He's 2 feet tall, and I've never seen that in person, but I imagine that's pretty cool. I imagine too that they probably didn't make a ton of those, and it may have been an exclusive or something, and I'm sure it goes really high now. These are really cool. I don't know who else I would want. Maybe another bounty hunter or something. Or I mean, I loved all the armor, the designs, the Ralph McQuarrie designs and stuff. I mean, I loved all that. Yeah, it's just wow. They're so big. They're so big. Whoops. And then because of that one, I had to get this one. And this is the Han in his Hoth outfit. Again, I think they refined this a bit from the original sculpt because it looks pretty good here. And here's another case like I was talking about earlier where I missed I missed all of the whole Star Wars Kenner phenomenon. And so the story is that Kenner, they painted the Han Solo Hoth figure blue. They painted his coat blue. And so all these kids grew up with a Han figure in his Hoth outfit colored blue, his jacket. And so there's people that literally think that his jacket was blue. And I'm not going to get into any, you can think what you want, but it was brown. His jacket was brown, but the scene was on Hoth, and it's an ice planet, and they lit the set or they used filters, blue filters or blue lights or something. And so during the scene, his jacket looks kind of blue, and I'm not sure the story behind who at Kenner decided to do that, or somebody at Lucasfilm had to have approved it or anything. But that's always been kind of a thing with the Star Wars fans. Was his jacket blue or brown? Well, I mean, I think it was definitely brown. As you can, well, yeah, as you can see here in the photo. But like I said, they light the sets with colors to make it look cool, to make it cold looking and stuff, and that's my opinion on all this. But I think it's a fun story, and even though I wasn't involved in any of it, I thought it was interesting, and I think I have the 3 3/4 inch figure of this that I bought. I believe at an antique store. And like I said, I loved Empire, and I loved the scenes on Hoth. I thought they were so cool stuff. So, and then this back It's got a bunch of, oh yeah, this has got like pre-trilogy stuff on it. So I guess, I don't know if the design kind of matches the original. I'm not sure, but obviously they weren't doing Amidala figures back in the 80s. So anyways, I thought these were really cool. They're keepers, you know. I'll find room for them. And this gives me kind of a connection to the old Kenner figures of the 70s and 80s without having to, you know, spend a ton of money for the actual original ones, which who knows what they go for now. I mean, obviously it all depends on their condition and stuff, but I thought these were neat, and so I thought I would share these and show them. And that's all I got. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.